And we are live at 1 minute past 6 p.m. Thank you for joining me in another moment to Mo Money with the Fix It Queen Academy, brought to you by Bid My Vid. I am your host, your teacher, your educator, and fellow trades person, Amanda the Fix It Queen. Today, I am excited to go over what I call the tax blanket. But before we get there, I thought I'd take a moment to just discuss a little bit about sales tax and use tax. Today, we are going to be diving into the benefits of having a sales tax or use tax license. One of the things that I had put in the comments earlier were about people just paying it at the register. So if you look in the copy, I put in there, a lot of people say, well, just pay it at the register. But what I want you to know is as I'm working with different contractors and in different states, depending on where you're located, that doesn't actually work. And under an audit situation, you're not actually paying it at the register, but instead you're causing yourself a double taxation. So today, I'm going to dive straight in. We have a little bit of a different format because I had some technical difficulties with my slide deck today. So I'm really just going at it dynamically. We're live streaming into, I believe, 6 or 7 different groups today. And outside of that, just wanted to share with you guys that the contractors that I work with range anywhere from electrical, plumbing, HVAC, general contracting, residential, commercial, and all across the board. So the topic is going to be somewhat general, but very specific. So as I talk with you guys today, our topic of discussion is the tax blanket works. And the reason why I labeled it that is because as I go through these little segments, I wanted to share with you not a loophole per se, but something that is beneficial to a multitude of different contractors across multiple states. So with that said, before I get fully into it, I just wanted to share with you, we're going to be changing some of the format for the Fix It Queen Academy. I have an opportunity to start offering live workshops for contractors that are in the Denver area. So we are going to start streaming every 15th of the month. We're going to be streaming from 6 p.m. MST to about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then doing in-person workshops. So I really want to help people get hands-on to change some of the metrics that are within their business. And that is what the workshops are for. We have partnered with a company called Tradecraft. And let me pull up there, Tradecraft Industries. And Tradecraft Industries is a co-working space in the Denver area. And I met with the owner, Bryce Ballou, earlier this week. And so what he offers at his center is a place for contractors to continue stabilizing and scaling their business. So as we work with Tradecraft, we're going to be doing live workshops that are tailored to contractors. And we'll be doing that every 15th of the month, starting at 7 p.m. So just after our live training segments, if you're in the Denver area, we invite you to come out and take a look. Number one, at the facilities. They have a few different options. You can get mailboxes there. You're able to have some desk and workspace. But what's fun about it is it creates an opportunity for us to get hands-on. And that's what I love about what I do as the Fix It Queen with the Fix It Queen Academy. You'll be having opportunities to go and train on different educational forums, but the key to it is to implement this stuff. And that is something that's quintessentially different about working with Bid My Vid and the Fix It Queen Academy is our opportunity to actually help you take what you know in ideation phase, I call it ideation or planning segment, and implement that into your business so you can get performance metrics that improve your bottom line as early as tomorrow from what you learned today. So today, I just wanted to touch base on that in brevity to let you know we'll be training every 15th of the month, live stream as we have been. We're taking away the first of the month because I have a lot of other activities that are going to pull my attention over the summer. So I still want to offer these moments to Mo Money. I still want to offer these insights that are built for your service business. And with that said, we'll go ahead and go into learning about the tax blankets. And I don't have my slide deck today. Again, the software that I was using, it is a cloud-based software. As a tech CEO, I know sometimes there can be glitches, and that's the fun part about it. So today I am teaching you dynamically, and we're going over two specific things. We're going over sales tax and use tax. We're going to be touching base on the benefits of it, and really understanding the fact that when you use the pay at the register method, it doesn't necessarily mitigate your tax liability. And as you start to scale your business, or you start to compound the number of years that you're in business, you widen up the scope of potential audit and penalties and interest that are assessed because you didn't follow protocol. You can pay it at the register, but in the end, it may lead to you being double taxed, because they're going to look at that top end of the receipt, not so much as a, oh, look, they paid it at the register, but they're going to be looking at that as the gross receipt is what you purchased at, and they don't take account for the taxes that you paid at the register. So going into the purpose of having a sales tax license is it allows you the opportunity to set up wholesale accounts and to get better pricing at your wholesale supply chains, and as well as not pay that sales tax at the register because it doesn't actually count. When you operate a business and you're moving items, right? And say we purchase this and then I'm selling it to this person over here, that in itself, that action immediately makes it a liability for you to comply to the metrics of operating a business. It doesn't minimize the fact that you have to pay the sales tax, but there's a few loopholes that I want to share with you regarding sales tax versus use tax, right? So if you're paying it at the register on the highest level, I just want to share with you that it doesn't necessarily, especially depending on what state you're in or jurisdiction, it doesn't necessarily stop you from having the liability that can compound over months and years as to the taxes that you are to remit to the ordinances of your city, your county, and your state. But what it can do is open up an opportunity for you to reduce your costs, so you stop paying it at the register, take those margins, and you're able to reallocate that to a different part of your business, so you can have more buffer and bandwidth to operate the business versus paying it at the register and laying low under the radar. Now, if you're doing low volume, chances of you getting an audit are pretty minimal. But as you sustain in years, or you trigger potential indicators from tax agencies, that can create one little non-compliance, and they'll be like, oh, look, they're not doing it how they're supposed to be doing it. And that'll open up a bigger picture of them to audit all the other things in your business. So I know this specifically because as I was running my service contracting business, I was the lucky winner of a top to bottom audit situation when I was doing electrical, plumbing, water treatment. We were starting to scale. We went from 8 team members to 12. And then when I hit that 10 mark, that set me in a different metric. And then when I got to 13, 15, 16, all of a sudden, the volume in that created, combined with the number of teammates, created what I call those laser triggers. Like if you're trying to, get to the bank vault, the more you do in volume and the more teammates you have, the more lasers go across that gauntlet. And I basically got my arm cut off as I was going through an audit. They basically said, hey, we see you're doing volume. Hey, we see you have over 10 employees. Hey, we see that you have, at the time I had 3 divisions. And so I got an audit for IRS, Colorado State, and city taxes all at once. And when they went in there, this is why I'm sharing it with you. When they went in there, they're like, oh my God, you're operating Scouts Honor business. But unfortunately, lack of knowledge doesn't negate the fact that you should have been operating like this, but you were operating like that. We see that you did all of your receipting. We see that you did all your costing. We see that you did all your books. But all of these taxes that you paid at the register, they don't actually go towards any sort of credit, because what I learned was those taxes at the register are meant for end users. And when you're a business, essentially you're not that end user. But after I went through that audit, I learned a few things from the agents that came through my offices, and they said, we see that you were doing good business practices and we're going to give you some tips. And so they offered me a few tips to understand how to use the sales and use tax, and the fact that I should have been reporting everything, and as well as setting myself up as tax exempt at Home Depot, at Lowe's, at all the places I was purchasing, especially at my wholesale supply channels. Once I set those up, I was able to qualify for 30-day net 30 accounts and start using leverage of our volume of materials. So sales tax is meant for end users. That is one of the biggest things I want to share with you. And we'll get to the tax blanket specifically, but sales tax is meant for the end users, and the end user is not you. When you're a business, you're passing through the items to the end user. And this next tip that I'm going to give you has to do with warranties, and how you have your provisions of operations, or that operations manual of your book. Because as I went through the audit, I learned very quickly that if I were to have an operative order in my manual for my business, and I were to use the sales and use tax in a different manner, I would have had a loophole that they shared with me at the end, that I could have been the end user as the business based on the type of warranty provisions I had in my contracts. So the use tax is where that loophole was, where I could have simplified my tax reporting. So your sales tax is a license that you can get to take off sales tax at the register. This allows you to have a different price point at your wholesale channels, and at the same time pass that through to your clients. Now, here's the key thing. The clients, and you all know this, once we install that component there, it's affixed to their house and it becomes part of their home, and it can create a challenge when they don't pay to go and do mechanics liens and follow in all the way through to potential foreclosure. But at the same time, depending on those contracts and the provisions within your service contract, you can remain the end user of that, and that can help you when you go over to a mechanics lien. So sales tax is a pass-through to the client, and you collect it on behalf of the municipality that you're registered under, but you can put a stopgap in there. And this is what I learned during my audit phase. Putting a stopgap in there is I sold it to my place of business, and whatever that location was, I was located in Aurora, Colorado. And so I basically purchased everything wholesale. I made a pit stop, and I sold everything to my business location in Aurora. And then from there, I was taking that and I was putting it through my use tax on that report as something I was using on behalf of my business as on that report line. And that kept me from having to report to all of the home rule cities. Now, I have a blanket for you guys that I'm going to share with you here in a little bit. And with my slide deck, I had a number of things to give you visuals. So if you're interested in seeing kind of the funnel and how those triggers or logics or blueprints go, let me know, because once I get access to that cloud-based software I use, I'll be able to send that out to you guys. But in essence, the simple fashion that I was taking allowed me to take the materials in. I had to have a 24-hour period. Here's the key thing to that loophole for use tax is I couldn't buy it that day and install it that day and use this loophole of use tax. I actually had to purchase it at least one day in advance, sell it to my business location, and then the next day install it. And that allowed me to basically sell everything to my single location and simplify my tax reporting. And that was the loophole that was given to me after I went through that audit. And the agents were like, man, you did a really good job. You just didn't know at the time. I didn't have the business acumen that I have now. And I just didn't know at the time that it was something I was doing non-compliance. I felt like I was doing it right. I was paying sales tax at the register. I didn't want to have a sales tax license and manage all of that. But what I learned very quickly was it didn't matter what I wanted. What mattered what the city and the county and the state wanted. And they showed me really quickly that even though I was paying sales tax at the register, it was in a non-compliant manner to how the business operations should move as you have permission to work with the public. So the loophole I got from the tax agent at the time was to basically utilize use tax and sell it all to my location. It allowed me to do reporting to one single city. But if I didn't have at least one day in that timeline to execute that use tax loophole, I had to then report it as sales tax and pass it through to the client on the invoice. So there's a few things that when I work with my clients that I help them with, that our firm helps them with in terms of setting up their bid points and disclosing materials or not disclosing materials. When you're doing flat rate bidding and you're collecting that all in, I see questions come up all the time for people that are wanting to identify the materials that are being used in a bid. And so there's some provisions that you're required to do, but also there's some things that you need to know about sales tax and use tax that are helpful. So aside from that, the sales tax blanket that I wanted to share with you guys is a universal tax filing that allows you to simplify the sales tax part of it. If you don't purchase, if you have your sales tax license and your use tax license, and you're not having a 24-hour period to sell it to your business location, from there, you are purchasing it the same day and selling it directly through. At that point, you are able to then use this next item that I'm going to share with you, which is the universal and uniform sales tax and use tax resale certificate. And it's multi-jurisdiction. This is for multiple states and multiple cities. If you are in a multi-jurisdiction area, meaning your business operates in different states and or different cities and counties, you're able to utilize this form as a blanket. And that was really what I wanted to tie in today to the training, was letting you all know that the tax compliance that comes with operating a business is not what your interpretation is. It's what the requirements are that allow your business to operate. So using that uniform sales and use tax resale certificate that allows you across multiple states to minimize the tax liability. This is the blanket that I wanted to share with you, which is why I labeled our segment today the tax blanket that works. Because as I went through my audits, I learned very quickly that I couldn't just pay it at the register. And there's a lot of people that do. There's a lot of people that pay their sales tax at the register and they get away with it. But it doesn't mean that it's correct. And it does open up a liability for you to compound that interest and penalty for not knowing. And as the agent went through my books and everything, she said to me very clearly, lack of knowledge doesn't give you a pass. And she's like, I see everything that you did was, you recorded everything, but unfortunately, when you operate your business, it doesn't necessarily negate the fact that you have to pay these taxes, or you have to keep track in this order. This is the regulatory requirements that come from business operations that allow people permission to deal with the public and permission to purchase things at a discounted rate. And so one of the benefits I say is, if you don't have a sales tax license and use tax license, please get one, because it allows you some benefits to get things in a wholesale capacity from the supply chains. They will look at you as an actual business. Okay. So that's the other thing, is when you don't have it in that way, they can look at you as just a consumer because you're paying sales tax at the register. But when you have those licenses in place, the wholesale businesses that you work with will look at you as a volume client, even if your volume's small. So sales tax and use tax license will give you a percentage of money to work with to put into the business operations. And from there, simplifying that reporting to sell those materials to your location at least 24 hours in advance will allow you to only report to that single city that your business is located in. If you buy it same day and you're installing it same day, that creates a basically a flag that says, hey, they are not giving enough time to transition those materials over to the final destination. So your business as a use tax, and I tied this into my contract as the warranty. The client had to basically allow me to be the end user as the contracting company. So in all of my contracting provisions, I put in there that I was the end user. And when I did that, that made it a lot easier for me to do a mechanics lien and argue the point that those were still very much my materials, because I held ownership of them through the term of the warranty. And at the end of the warranty, I was able to then exhaust that off of my balance sheet, so to speak. And that became then something that was now in their possession because the warranty was no longer held by me. And as I used it in the use tax and I held the warranty for that period for whatever that service was, that allowed me between those two pieces, when I would go and I had to go to do mechanics lien, it allowed me a swifter action, and it made it a lot easier to transition all the way into a foreclosure. And unfortunately, some of the cases that I had to go through literally went all the way to foreclosure, where for a $4,000 invoice, I was going to take their entire house, and they didn't understand why. And it's because I had some of these provisions in place. And I got a lot of this advice from my counsel and from my business mentors and advisors. And I share that with you guys humbly because I stand on the shoulders of giants often. And I share this with you from my experience. So the tax blanket that works is a uniform sales and use resale certificate that's a multi-jurisdiction. It allows you to basically simplify the fact that you do have to pay sales tax to multiple places if you miss that opportunity to sell it to your business with that 24-hour holdover. And that's pretty much what I wanted to go over with you guys today. So my training without my slide deck is really condensed because I don't have a lot of the visuals that I normally would have for you guys. Please hit me up for that slide deck. Once I'm able to access that and put it into a PDF, I'll be able to get that over to you guys to give you the visuals of the logic. Having the wholesale, the resale license and your sales and use tax license has benefit for your business to set up in wholesale channels. You'll be able to then activate your 30-day accounts at your different wholesale channels, and you'll be able to get a different price point altogether because they look at your business differently. And then from there, it'll minimize kind of the overall liability. So I'm going to go into questions right now, see what we have here. Hey, Bill, thanks for joining me. Yes, picture. Yeah, he and I took that picture for you. I told him that you and I were chatting on our live streams. So, on that note, guys, I need to mention to you on, I think it's July 2nd or July 1st. I have to take a look, but I'll be putting an event up because they are going to be having the grand opening of the largest electrical supply house in Colorado for the CES chain. And we'll be doing a live demo there for Bid My Vid, as well as the white knuckle CBD products that we offer for contractors that reduce their inflammation and their pain. And so that's basically what that looks like, is the different products that we offer for contractors. So we'll be doing a live demo of that on the 1st, I think July 1st or July 2nd. So if you're in the Denver area, please do join us at the CES Loveland location. They are excited. It was supposed to be on June 1st, but they got delayed in putting together some of their supply chain availability. So they are pushing that back out a month, but we'll be there doing a live demo. And so I wanted to share that with you. And then next month on the 15th, we'll be doing an in-person workshop. So that's the other side of the cuff that I wanted to share with you. Typically, we are doing our live training segments in broadcast on the 1st and on the 15th of the month. But going forward, we're going to be doing it every basically 15th of the month. And then we're going to follow that with the option to join us for a live workshop, because the key thing to me is implementation. The key thing to me is after you learn this stuff, after you sit there and you listen to a podcast or you sit through a training, how fast are you executing it into your business methods to change the potential performance of your business? So the workshops are meant to help people do that. And the people that are in our the Fix It Queen Academy programs, they get their own individual implementation strategy sessions. But I wanted to offer that to everybody. I'll live stream the workshops so you guys can get a part of that, but we're changing it up a little bit, where we're going to be doing our Moments to Mo Money training segments on the 15th at 6 p.m. MST. And then we're going to follow it with a workshop where we're going to take this information and evaluate businesses and then get performance increases. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys today. And if you want to hit me up for the slide deck, please let me know, because I didn't have my visuals today. And today's segment, sharing with you guys the universal tax blanket, it didn't go as I planned, but I still wanted to show up and share with you those quick tips, share with you the benefits of your sales tax and your use tax and the function of it. And paying tax at the register does not negate the fact that you still have to account for this stuff, but there are loopholes to minimize the complexity. There are loopholes to minimize the amount of agencies that you have to report to. And there are loopholes that you can use to use in conjunction with your warranty to make sure that it is a use tax on your reporting versus a sales tax and pass through to your client. So the form that I just had up again was the Uniform Sales and Use resale certificate for multi-jurisdiction. And that is what allows you to simplify some of the sales and use tax reporting. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over. Let me look at and see if there's any other questions. Let's see here. We have, yeah, of course. Yes, Bill, the ignorance is no excuse for breaking the law. Yeah, I agree. I didn't, honestly, when I went through my audits, and the agent, she almost was in tears as she handed me the tax bill, because she's like, I see that you literally have everything job costed and you have everything available to show that you were operating above the line, but you didn't understand. And at the time, it was in 2014 or 15 when that happened. I didn't understand. I thought paying sales tax at the register would worked, but it doesn't work, guys and gals. It doesn't work. And if you ever get sparked for an audit, I basically got compounded from the time I opened my business in 2010, 11 for that business. I did electrical, plumbing, water treatment. And when we hit that plumbing, water treatment expansion, that's when I had all of the audits happen. And they were like, ooh, look at, we see in this one, that little pinhole spot in this one little job that you didn't actually pay your sales tax. And I'm like, no, look, I have the receipt, I paid the sales tax right here. And they shook their head, and they basically said, nope, that's not how it works. How it works is that you are a business and you are taking these materials and you're selling them through to your client. And then from there, they just ripped open from top to bottom every single project from the time I opened my doors to that point. And I got hit with a huge sales tax and use tax penalty, liability, and interest compounded. And it was hefty. So I'm sharing this with you guys because paying it at the register is not necessarily a method that works. And you might tell yourself in your head that it does work, but honestly, it's something that could get you into hot water, because all I know is once they saw that little tiny thing, they looked at everything. They started to take a look at my employee tax withholdings. They started to take a look at my income tax for the business, and making sure I was doing proper 1120S's for my business. I mean, they started to look at every single report that they could, and it went from just a little tiny. Let me just take a look at this one job cost, and take a look at this one project, and the receipts. I had the receipts for it in there, and I'm like, here you go. I'm compliant. And that turned into like a $40,000 bill from compounded tax, sales tax, and use tax. So hopefully that helps you guys. Please let me know if you're interested in seeing the slide deck once I'm able to get it. The software I use for Prezi to do my presentations and have that dynamic experience for you guys, it was not available. So I basically did it off the cuff, shared with you guys the universal tax blanket that works. This universal multi-jurisdiction tax blanket allows you to minimize and simplify your sales tax reporting. And the loophole that I shared earlier about tying your warranty records and you holding the ownership of those parts within your business as a use of item through the warranty period is also a loophole. But the key to that loophole is making sure that you do sell it 24 hours in advance. So if you're buying materials same day and installing them same day, that is subject to the sales tax. If you're buying them the day before or earlier and selling them to your business and then using them, that will allow you to tie the daisy chain to your warranty record to be able to minimize the fact that you only have to report to the city that you are registered within your business. So I would love to go over this like in a huge, like detailed slide, and I'll share that with you guys. So yeah, Joseph, I'll share that with you guys. Just message me here, and totally, I'll send that as soon as their cloud-based software is open. I'll export that and get you guys the flow chart that goes with it. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over with you. Short and sweet today. The benefits of sales tax and use tax licensing, creating a margin that allows you to use that money that would be paid on your receipts within your business. So you have that margin to actually sustain the operations. And then from there, having those loopholes between use tax, sales tax, and having that 24-hour period. And then if you are paying sales tax, being sure to, I'll send you guys the link to this uniform sales and use tax resale certificate for multi-jurisdiction. And that basically allows you to simplify your sales tax reporting. So if you guys, let me see if there's any other questions in here. I don't see anything else, but if you guys want to get that from me, just let me know. And I guess that's the end of my training segment for today. Short and sweet. The tax blanket that works is the form that I just shared with you, and I will get you guys out the form that allows me to show with you the flow charts. Again, biggest thing I want to share with you guys is if you are paying sales tax at the register, that doesn't necessarily negate the fact. So let's see here. That's pretty much it. If you're paying tax at the register, it doesn't mean you're paying the sales tax in compliance. And as Bill said, ignorance is no excuse for breaking the law. I wasn't breaking the law though, guys. I was operating from what I knew then. And I'm so thankful that in the past 10 years, I've had the opportunity to have the business mentors and access to education. So that's what this is. This is my goal. I'm just coming live to share with you all of those components that I have learned over the past 24 years operating service and trades businesses. And that's what I got going on. So next month, we will be training on the 15th. So please be sure to log in. And if you are local, please come to our workshops. I'll be posting some information for you guys on those workshops and the topics that we'll be going over, because the goal is to get your hands dirty and work on the business and implement what you're learning in all of these different webinars that you guys participate, whether it's from the Fix It Queen Academy or from other streams or other podcasts. It does nothing rolling around in your head if you don't actually implement it and get performance metrics to change and get the bottom line to be at a sizable amount that gets you to your exit. And if you don't know the exit, visit the training segment from May 1st, where I went over those 8 exit strategies that are tied to your business valuation. So that's what I have going on, guys. I appreciate you very much. And I'll those that messaged me in the live stream and or via direct message, I had some come in through the direct message. Let me see what those questions were. let's see here. Yeah, actually, same question. Yes, I absolutely will get those to you, Christopher, for the slide deck. So I'll see you guys on the next live training segment 1 month from now. And for now, just know if you're paying tax at the register, it doesn't negate you from having a sales and use tax. But I shared some pretty good pieces that'll help you minimize those taxes. I'm going to share Bill's high voltage live show. Yeah, I've been watching you there too. So I enjoy everybody's engagement here, and thank you for allowing me to share a moment with you to give you some insight that I've acquired over the last 24 years. I appreciate you guys greatly. We'll catch you guys on the next live training, which will be on the 15th at 6 p.m. MST. So peace out.